What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the first official episode of the Scoops of Insight podcast. I am your host, Trevelyan Owen, and today's topic is called Getting Started. Have you ever prevented yourself from starting something? What are some of the things that prevented you from starting? I know for me, it was not having the finances to accomplish the vision and goals in my head and the fear of failure. One day, concerning the creation of this podcast, I sat down and wrote an itemized list of things I needed, including pricing for this podcast to be audio and video, to look professional, and for the audio quality to be flawless. I was known as the audio guy and audio mixer of sound, so I was already putting pressure on myself concerning this audio thing. I used to be the sound engineer for a church, and when I did the sound for artist performances, people told me that the sound was great, as if they were listening to the album in their car. I'm playing all of this on repeat in my mind and telling myself, I need the best equipment, I need this thing to sound polished, etc., 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 and all the noise. I started to get overwhelmed. I overwhelmed myself. I looked at the income I had, I looked at my bills, I looked at the itemized list I made. I couldn't afford all that. So I didn't start, and I left the vision in a notebook and in my head. Years later, here I am starting my first podcast without the money, without everything on that list I thought I needed. Well, what changed? I am glad you asked that question. And as simple as this, my perspective of the basic tools I needed to start, thinking about disregarding audio perfection and embracing audio quality progression, and making the decision to start without doing video, but that will come later. Don't get me wrong. And, I had a come to Jesus moment. And I realized that the basic necessities to accomplish the task of starting, I was already using, and found some software online, some free software online at that. Guess what the tools were? My computer, cell phone, Bluetooth mic, free software that came on my computer, and free online software. That's right. By now, I'm using the word free, and that's what I'm doing right now. By understanding the technology I was already using and the purpose it was created, I was able to see more use cases beyond my normal usage of it. With the cell phone camera, I could do video, but I decided to hold off on that until the next phase. I say all that to say, don't let having or not having enough money stop you from starting parts of your vision that you can do for free with what you already have. Get a different perspective of the tools you are already using. For me, it was going back to the basics of technology 101 and being okay with not starting with the polished product, and to show progression with the podcast. For you, it might be to write a book and self-publish it for free on Amazon. Whatever it is, get started and use the free stuff for the small wins. Let me say that again. Get started and use the free stuff for the small wins. I wrote and self-published my first book titled From the Archives to the Light, a collection of poems that is now available on Amazon. I published it on Amazon for free. Now, Amazon is going to take their cut up front for using their services, but that's money I didn't have to pay up front for publishing, printing, and distribution. For those who want to write a book, for those who want to sing, for those who want to go back to school, for those, whatever the case is, just start. If that's what you truly want to do, to move up in your life, just start that thing. There are free tools at your disposal all around you. Now with the free tools, there may be some limitations, but that's okay. And don't let that delay your blessings. Remember, start from where you are. Start where you are. If it's small, do not despise small beginnings. Do not despise small beginnings. Don't get caught up in this social media hype. What works for other people may not work for you. What will work for you may not work for other people. Find out who you are. Find out what your purpose is. Find out what you enjoy for you, not for other people. Because at the end of the day, it's going to be about you, what you can provide to help other people, and you being able to sleep at night. Do what you can do with what you have and what you can maintain, and start. Get started with that, whatever that is. The book, the business, the brand, the therapy, the training, the counseling, whatever it is. It's okay to use the free stuff to get started until you can pay for the next tier of services. I'm going to say that again. It is okay to use the free stuff to get started until you can pay for the next tier of services. Another strategy is to barter services. See if you can find someone where you can do the transaction exchange of services for that each one provides instead of paying cash, instead of paying money. Starting out, there are some people that will barter services with you. Find who those people are. That may be a handful, but there are some people that will do it. Taking a pause. What is it that you have right now in your purse, in your book bag, in your briefcase, in your car, in your house? What is it? What is that thing? Or what are those things that you have right now? You already paid for. It's just sitting around. What are some of those things that you have? Now, some of those things may be old, but they may still have some value. Don't be so quick to cast out, to throw out, to cut off things that you can use as a tool to get you to where you need to be. Don't be so caught up in all the new stuff, the new technology, the new car, the new house. Don't get so caught up in that to where you devalue the thing that you already have that's consistent, the thing that you already have that's been producing on the level that it needed to produce on. Don't get so caught up in this social media world to always wanting the new thing, the next thing, when the thing that you already have can produce the results of the new thing, of the next thing. The thing that you already have is working. It may just need to be upgraded. It may just need a firmware update. It just may need a Windows update. It just may need, a few features update. What is that thing? What is that small beginning? What is that phone you have that's a computer that you can use for multiple different things? You can record in your phone. You can do videos on your phone. You can do photography on your phone. Based on the phone, it may not produce the quality of things that were made to do those specific tasks or duties, but you can at least get started. Get started. Point of this episode of the podcast is to get started on some level, somehow, somewhere. Get started. Once you get started and once you get those small wins, then it's going to encourage you to do more. It's going to encourage you to push for more. It's going to encourage you to do what you need to do to get the next one out. But at least I'm going to speak for myself. It's encouraging me to get the next one out and the next one and to start being more consistent. So I'll leave you with this. Keynotes. 1, get started. 2, reevaluate what you have. Reimagine what you have already, that you're already using. Could it be that that's the thing that you actually really need to get to your next level. Don't despise small beginnings. Get those small wins that you need to take you to the next level. Some of those small wins are affirmations that you need. And with that said, until next time, thank you for joining me, for listening to the Scoops of Insight podcast that is finally here, finally ready for you to listen, for you to enjoy, for you to learn. Well, for us to learn, because I'm learning too while I'm doing this. You know, a lot of things that's going to be coming out of this podcast are things that I have learned through experiences, through observation, through helping other people. And as I continue to help more people, I continue to learn and benefit from helping others. And so thank you all for joining me on this journey, joining me on this episode. Continue to like, subscribe, and download this podcast. This is the Scoops of Insight podcast. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your brothers and sisters, tell the people that you know. The Scoops of Insight podcast is now here to serve you. Join us next time. Thank you.